Mhm.
When people on the right and people on the left talk about wanting to limit executive power and wanting a smaller government, they mean different things often, right? When people on the right talk about wanting a smaller government and wanting a limited executive, they do not mean they want a president who is impotent within his sphere of control. What they mean is the sphere of the president's control should be smaller. That's what we mean when we talk about we want to get rid of executive agencies. We want the president to have control over less things, but have control over the things he has control over. The things he should have control over include things like trade discussions with other nations, include things like military, include things like immigration and border enforcement,
Sure.
include things like enforcement of the law. The contradiction that Erudite's pointing at is because she's using the phrase small government in a way that I'm not using it, which would be fine, and I wouldn't have like a whiff of bad faith if it wasn't for the fact that I provided her with that exact explanation during the conversation,
Sure.
which had no impact on
But
whether or
the
not she felt that there was some contradiction there.
but even within that framing of you want to have less things that the executive branch has control over, but still want them to have control uh, in the I guess the spheres of influence which they do occupy. I think even then, like there's a disagreement because I want well immigration. We both agree that the president should have the power to enforce immigration, but
Mhm.
how that immigration is enforced I don't want the executive branch to have the ability to do certain things to enforce that order that would violate the Constitution in other ways. So, for example, the president could, right, say I'm enforcing immigration, I'm enforcing the border, so I am going to nationalize all the border states. I'm going to nationalize
Mhm.
their or federalize their National Guard, and I'm going to order them to shoot on sight anyone in this
Yeah.
no man's land, right? I mean, that would be border enforcement,
And
but
if
surely you wouldn't want him to have the power to do
and
that,
if I
right?
had advocated for that, I think there would be a good argument that I was contradicting my principles. But the
Okay, but
examples that we were
I'm using an
discussing,
example to show
yeah,
like that you agree with me that there are limits within even the sphere of
yeah,
control that we feel the president should have.
I
Yes.
mean, there are limits. I just don't think there are. I think we would think that there are substantially different and
Yeah,
probably
we
fewer.
will disagree on
We'll
the
disagree. Like, but of course there are some limits. Yeah, I think
certainly.
that's fine.